Well, he has done very well in the few times he's ventured into the Arca Marhide series. And here he is on the outside pole.
Normally we see him at a small track like this, Killcare, possibly here at Flat Rock, in a much lighter car, and he has very little experience in this number 8, but he certainly got around this track very quickly tonight. 2 laps to go, the indication there from Arca Marhide Supercar Series starter Henry Wetzel. So in 2 laps we'll get underway. Some great racing coming your way in just a few seconds.
You know, these guys are really running short on stamina, energy, and sleep. We raced last night at Owasso Speedway, about 2 hours away from here in northern Michigan. Come here for an afternoon show. Everybody's running a little bit ragged, but everybody's adrenaline is flowing, ready to start this 150 lap.
We made mention of the car you see there in the 4th starting position. That is number 11. Andy Hillenberg, and right behind him, number 52, Kenny Schrader. You talk about not having much sleep. These guys ran the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, made their way to Owasso last night, got in the cars and qualified, and here we are, ready to go. 150 additional laps. So, boy, that Schrader, he'll race just about anything, anywhere.
You know, they had to hire a private jet just to get him there on time. They couldn't have made it on a commercial flight or a smaller plane. And now the green flag is out and we're underway.
Here we go. 150 laps coming your way from the beautiful Flat Rock Speedway. Once again, it's the AC Delco 150. See Bobby Bowser making his way up through traffic a little bit back there. And Robbie Pyle right behind Dave Weltmeyer in car number 8. And now they start to go single file a little bit, but stuck on the outside is Bob Hill and Roger Blackstock. We see Eric Smith trying to make a bit of a charge in car number 9.
Good qualifying run for Roger Blackstock. You see that the 3rd and 4th place drivers right now, Randy Churchill and Andy Hillenberg. Churchill had an excellent run last night at Owasso Speedway. He made contact with Ken Schrader with about 7 laps remaining. Churchill was leading the event, and Schrader was challenging for the lead. They came on a spun car, and they banged together, fixed their cars, finished on the lead lap, but those 2 guys were dicing for the win last night. Here they are again up front today.
Another good qualifying run for Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile. LeDuc has had a pretty excellent season in 1995, and here comes Andy Hillenberg to the inside. Car number 11, the driver who won the last race here at Flat Rock when we had the Miller Genuine Draft 150. So Hillenberg knows his way around this track, and all of a sudden the leaders are now making their way around Bob Dodds from Dayton, Ohio in car number 09.
There is a little bit of a bump coming out of turn 2 on this racetrack, and Randy Churchill just felt it a couple of laps ago. The car wiggled side to side, and that was when we saw the guys behind him kind of diving under and over. Coming out of turn 2, if you don't have your car set just exactly correctly, and you tromp back on the throttle coming out of that turn, the car will turn right around.
And you've got a lot of weight coming around there in these Arca Marhide Supercar Series cars. And look at this, Dill Whittemore is stuck to the inside as Jody Guerra and Frank Kimmel make their way around Bob Dodds to the outside. Guerra gets around him. There goes the Papa John's Beast entry of Kimmel. And look at that contact between number 56, Dill Whittemore, and hometown guy Frank Kimmel. Both of these gentlemen have been around this Flat Rock Speedway a number of times, and they both did an excellent job holding on right there.
You got to think there that Dill Whittemore thought that Kimmel's car had cleared him, and as he swung up to pull out behind the Papa John's pizza car, he flipped him.
Sure did.
They both did a nice job to straighten him back out.
Back to the front right now. Here's Dave Weltmeyer in the Rouleau Brothers Chevrolet, and he's being hounded by number 44, Randy Churchill. And Churchill is a driver who really gets around these short tracks excellently.
There goes Schrader to the inside of Robbie Pyle. That's for a position in the top 5 there. Marvin Smith, the veteran, right behind him. Schrader's AC Delco Olds. Then it's Robbie Pyle, Jerry Lawrence's Chrysler, and Smith and Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet. Good battle going there.
Cars somewhat out into single file now as they're trying to get a hold of this racetrack, see what it's going to be. But look at Dave Weltmeyer. He is really motoring now as he is just about to get himself into some lap traffic in the back of the field. Weltmeyer, of course, no stranger to this Flat Rock Speedway. He's won a number of events here, and this track probably suits him just as well as anything, as he grew up around the tracks in the Chicagoland area at Grundy County Speedway. And look out, Richard House just got sideways right in front of the leader, car number 31. Boy, that had to be an anxious moment for Weltmeyer.
An anxious moment indeed for Dave Weltmeyer, and we're anxious to bring you more of this race from Flat Rock Speedway in a moment.
This broadcast from the Flat Rock Speedway being brought to you by AC Rapid Fire Spark Plugs, the best in surefire automotive products from AC and Delco Automotive. Welcome back to Flat Rock. Ray Dunlap and Ron Dreger bringing you the AC Delco 150. Dave Weltmeyer out front here, Ron, and he's getting into some serious traffic.
This is a racetrack where you're going to have a lot of serious traffic. Even the lap cars become doubled up, so then you get 3 wide passing when the lead cars come around. There are so many cars out of the like 30 cars, and they're big cars, big wide cars, so you're going to get the 3 wide traffic, and that's not that uncommon at all. So Weltmeyer's going to really have to pick his spots as he makes his way through.
When we saw the first race of 95 here at Flat Rock in the Miller Genuine Draft 150, Andy Hillenberg had to use the outside most of the time to pass lap traffic, and it appears Weltmeyer is set up to do just that same thing. Of course, Dave was not here in competition with us for that first race. Andy Hillenberg went to victory lane for his second win of the season, and so far in 1995, he's the only driver to be able to repeat.
A lot of different winners on this series, and that's kind of traditional. So many different venues on this series. Quarter-mile paved tracks, clear up to 2.66-mile Talladega Super Speedway. We'll run the mile dirt tracks. We'll run short dirt tracks. So all those different types of surfaces, you have a lot of different people rise to the top. Cream rises to the top, and on different types of racing surfaces, you'll have different drivers who will excel, and it just yields a lot of different winners in events in these Arca Marhide series.
We made mention of Andy Hillenberg, and he has really moved up now onto the tail of Randy Churchill in car number 44. So it goes Chevrolet, Chevrolet, and Chevrolet.
The long-awaited appearance of the Rouleau brothers Chevrolet in this 1995 season. This is the team, the brothers based out of Midlothian, Illinois. They operate a pet food store over there in the manufacturing those pet food supplies. And Hillenberg seems tapping just a little bit on Churchill there. They are one of the winningest car owner teams of the past 25 years in this series. Since 1977, they're third only behind Ron Keselowski, driver Bob Keselowski, and Jim Coyle, who was active with Marvin Smith and Lee Raymond. And now you see Hillenberg go ahead and go underneath, going to make the pass here on Randy Churchill.
So Hillenberg gets past Churchill here, and moving up right into the back of your picture there was number 52, Kenny Schrader. And I think Schrader's just now getting a handle of what it's like to race here on this track. We didn't have a whole lot of practice today, and he's never been in competition here before, so probably just getting this place figured out. We'll probably see him move into the picture. Right now, Dave Weltmeyer's hands are full getting around lap traffic. He just made his way around Terry Tripp in car number 6 there, and 48 is Mike Buckley, and now he sets his sights on number 24, Scott Neal from Middletown. So Weltmeyer really getting through traffic quick here. And look, Weltmeyer goes to the inside of car number 24.
Dave Weltmeyer, one of those drivers who the Rouleau brothers employ as they run this series. Joe Ruttman has driven their cars in super speedway events this far this season in Daytona and Michigan. They've used as many as 8, 9 different drivers in any given season. Their theory being we're going to go to every racetrack, use the best setup we can provide in the race car, and we're going to get the best guy to drive it that we can find, instead of staying with the same driver from race to race.
Characteristically, over the years, they've really not cared about the points. They go to each race just wanting to win. Last year, they did chase every race of the 1994 Arca Marhide series, and they did quite well. Right now, we see some good traffic back here as Schrader and number 1, Marvin Smith, make their way around Perry Tripp from Fredericktown, Missouri. And Andy Hillenberg now is dropping back a little bit from Randy Churchill as Schrader and Marvin Smith start to put some pressure on 3rd and 4th place.
Yeah, we see Churchill has dropped all the way back behind there now, so maybe a little bit of handling going away. He may be saying, look, this racetrack surface is warmer than what I'm used to in the evening here. I'm going to save my tires a little bit. Maybe I'm just going to hang on and ride, just not let him get too far away.
That certainly could be a concern of how long the tires will last here. And we look at a guy there in the picture, number 75, Bob Schacht, and he is in danger of going down a lap here shortly as Dave Weltmeyer is making his way through the field, gets around Roger Blackstock there in car number 12. On the inside is David Frog Hall from Blue Springs, Missouri, and boy, this is uncharacteristic to see Schacht in a position to be lapped this early in a race.
Bob Schacht has won 17 times on this series. He is running second in the points, and though so far this season, he's completed all but 4 laps. Now, we're in the 10th race of the season. He's completed all but 4 laps of the total racing laps this season. So to go a lap down, you're right, it is a big deal.
Well, you make mention of that, completing all the laps, and that certainly is an important point because when you're chasing points in this series, you've got to complete every lap and finish every race. That is the way. A consistent season can bring you the points race championship, even if you don't win a lot of races. So Shaq's doing his best to just stay in there every week, but this is uncharacteristic. But Dave Weltmeyer has just got this car on a rail.
Jack's car is really pushing coming out of the corner. The engineered components Ford. This is a new car. They're trying to get this thing dialed in. He's been using what he calls Old Faithful. It's about a 7 or 8 year old car. It's won at Pocono and Salem and on the mild dirt and at Pensacola. He's trying to get this new car dialed in, and he's kind of struggling with it this weekend.
It's the first weekend for that car, so certainly take him a couple of weeks maybe to get the handle on it, but Dave Weltmeyer has made his way there. And here comes Kenny Schrader along with Marvin Smith, and they move up through some of that traffic as one of the cars had spun there on the backstretch, able to continue. And I think that was Mark Gibson, car number 7.
They sure did. Got refired and got right back in the action. He was off the racetrack, so there was no need for a caution. He got it refired and picked back up and run ahead. There's Bobby Bowser in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford. Now he's moving up on Michael Benjamin, driving the John Stratman-owned machine this afternoon.
John Stratman, this is the first race of 1995 he hasn't been able to make, but has a car here with Michael Benjamin driving number 57 today. We look back through the field here a little bit. Some good racing all the way around this track. And Ron, when we run under an extended green like this, the field can really get spread out, but the bottom line is it only takes you 13 seconds to get around this place, so you really can't lag at all because Dave Weltmeyer is making it around here so quickly.
If you talk to the drivers, they'll tell you you're just constantly in a bind. You never really straighten the steering wheel back out. You're always turning, running around this racetrack. And at the rate that Dave Weltmeyer is making laps around here, he's really putting a lot of cars a lap down. So you're right, the extended green flag period. And here's our outside pole setter, Robbie Pyle, who has been in a couple of slam bangers now. We gotta let you know that. But here he comes, going to be lapped by our leader, Dave Weltmeyer, unless he gets a caution here.
Robbie told me they tested this car a week or so ago down at Columbus Motor Speedway, and they'd picked up 3/10 over their fastest previous time there. So they felt like they had a really good car today and set on the outside pole, but a few skirmishes there have slowed down car number 8. So that Chrysler has now gone a lap down to number 39, Dave Weltmeyer, and he's going around Glenn Brewer for the second time here in car number 10.
Yeah, to paraphrase a bumper sticker, skirmishes happen here at Flat Rock. There's just not that much room to maneuver. Look at this bunch of traffic right here.
Boy, that looks like Friday night in downtown Detroit on I-75. There's traffic every which way and a little contact up there with Perry Tripp in the front. Dave Weltmeyer now set back behind this group. We see Dill Whittemore in car number 56. And I'll tell you, if you're Weltmeyer right now, you have to start thinking what could go on up here in the front of this pack.
Yeah, he's just picking and choosing. He knows he doesn't need to run a reckless race at this point. We're hardly even a third of the way into this 150-lap race. But he'd like to put some distance between himself. The key thing being, if he can put a lot of these cars a lap down, get them a lap down, get them out of his way as far as being in contention for the race win, that's the thing that he's working on right now. As many of these guys he can get a lap down, he's going to go ahead and do it.
When we run short track like this, chances are on a quarter mile or when we're at a track like Killcare, if you go into the pits, you're going to lose a lap. You have that set in your mind, but you don't think that this early in this stage of a race like this that you're going to go down a lap to the leader if you've got a good car. And boy, Dave Weltmeyer is certainly perplexing a few drivers out there as he's getting around here so quickly. You look just ahead of him a little bit. We see Roger Blackstock and Jody Guerra. He's moving up on Dill Whittemore and Frank Kimmel. These are extremely quick cars, so Weltmeyer's car performing just as well as I've ever seen a race car here at Flat Rock.
Blackstock is your 8th place qualifier. Jody Garrett qualified 13th. So he's moving up in the top 10 type race cars in terms of Talladega Polaroid qualifying today, and he's putting a lap on them. And if he keeps this kind of thing up, he's going to be in line for the AC Rapid Fire Spark Plug Challenge. That's the bonus if you win the Talladega Pole Award and you go on and win the race. And he sure looks like a strong candidate today. Yeah,
$2,500 on the line today from AC Rapid Fire Spark Plugs, and Weltmeyer would just love to get that prize at the end of the race there. Jody Guerra slipping a little bit there, going high as Eric Smith in car number 9 there on the inside. Look at this traffic. Here goes Andy Hillenberg to the outside of Dill Whittemore, and I don't believe it. The last race winner here at Flat Rock in car number 11 is in danger of going down a lap to the leader. Looks like that's Mike Loers on the outside there in car number 99.
Hillenberg's car number 11, Mike Loers is on the outside, and that's the one that Dave Weltmeyer has now set his sights on. Bill Whittemore just ahead of him. But the fast track driving school instructor, Andy Hillenberg, as you mentioned, he's done a lot of racing this weekend. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired out there, might be.
Very good, that might be, because last night at Owasso, I know when the race was over, he looked like he had really been through the ringer. So because we had to make the short journey overnight here to Flat Rock and been here all day, maybe Hillenberg is just a bit wore out. Look at this, 3 wide coming through turn number 4. Hillenberg to the outside of Bob Hill, and they make the split there as Bill Whittemore keeps the Triad Steel number 56 to the inside, and here goes Weltmeyer around Bob Hill from Story City, Iowa. Another driver that is fairly uncharacteristic to see going down a lap at this stage of the race.
Yeah, that's another lead lap car in Larry Clements Chevrolet. Now, Eric Smith has picked up his pace a little bit. He was the winner at Owasso Speedway last night, we just mentioned, and he is now tagged onto the back of Dave Weltmeyer. You might see him try to get his lap back here, especially in traffic. If he can stay close and Weltmeyer maybe gets hung out, perhaps Smith can drive underneath and get his lap back.
Yeah, Smith had no problem getting around Bob Hill there in car number 46, but Weltmeyer now is right up on the bumper of car number 56, Bill Whittemore. There we see number 62, that's Kurt Dickey from Windsor, Ontario, and Dickey now goes down a lap. But look at this traffic run. On the inside is number 09. That's Bob Dodds, and boy, oh boy, does Weltmeyer have an entire front fender full of race cars there. Whittemore to the outside. Just ahead of him is Hillenberg and the Papa John's Pizza, number 02 of Frank Kimmel. And in front of them, a couple of slower cars.
If there was ever a situation where it was do or die, it's here right now. He's got to stay out there, and he's got to keep his foot in it. There's really not much option. You see the slower cars on the inside, the lead lap cars on the outside, and unless Dave chooses to go 3 wide to try to put one of the cars 1 lap down, and that's going to be a difficult thing to do. He's just got to wait, let this sort itself out, and then he can go after Bill Whittemore's Indiana Steel Triad Steel Oldsmobile.
Give a nice call here to a couple of these cars that are already a lap down. Kenny Brown there in number 49 and Mike Buckley in number 48. They moved to the inside and said, look, these guys are racing for it. I know Kimmel needs to get going, and so does Hillenberg, so a nice job there of those guys to clear out for traffic. And here comes Kimmel, and to the outside is Andy Hillenberg. He's making a move up there, and Bill Whittemore has got to see a full mirror of car number 39.
Done a good job so far holding him off. The Seymour, Indiana rookie. He's running right at the top of the STP Prestone Arca Rookie of the Year standings, along with Andy Hillenberg, who also leads the Arca Bonner Marhide Series points. And of course, if Hillenberg should go on to win this championship, he would forfeit his eligibility for the Rookie of the Year award, and then it would come to somebody like Harris Devane or Bill Whittemore or one of the other top rookies that are running this season.
Every point every week is so important, and you get points for leading laps, you get points for leading the most laps, and it's kind of interesting when you see a driver like Dave Weltmeyer come into the series. He may only run 6 or 7 races in the whole season, but he's a guy that's in there stealing points from these guys that run every race each week because he's going to lead the race. We see the halfway point right now is given there from Henry Wetzel, and we need to take a short break, and we'll be back to the AC Delco 150 in action today in the AC Delco 150. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Ron Dreger, and boy, Ron, I've never seen a car quite as good as what Dave Weltmeyer's has been so far today here at Flat Rock.
And especially when you take into consideration this car had never been on the racetrack prior to today. This is a brand new race car that the Rouleau brothers prepared for Weltmeyer. They hoped to have it ready for 3 or 4 of the previous short track races. In fact, they even filed entries and planned on being there, and they just couldn't get it done. They couldn't even make it to last night's race. So this is a car that is just brand new out of the box.
Right off the trailer, they've been fast, and now Eric Smith continues to hound Weltmeyer. Smith trying to get his lap back, and we see the traffic back here. Lots of really good race cars down a lap in this AC Delco 150, the Dave Weltmeyer Chevrolet. Right there is Tim Steele, Ron. We haven't seen him in the frame much, but Steele now moving up to be in contention. He's a top 5 car.
Staying on the lead lap, staying out of trouble. Probably following a line and staying on that outside and lapping cars, but just staying on the lead lap has been a real chore here today, so he is doing a fine job. They picked up an associate sponsor, HSI. Oh, look at that.
Donnie LeDuc goes to the inside there, and the Tech 3 prototype's number 55, and Smith had to take a bit of an evasive action there to get around him. Right behind him is car number 1, Marvin Smith, and Marvin doing a good job staying on the lead lap also.
Yeah, he really is. Just to follow up on the steel thing, Simlink has picked up the associate sponsorship on their team, and they're real happy with that. But nice job today for Tim Steele. You see the whole front of the car is all kind of primer colored. They had torn that car up, had to fix it and get it all ready to go, and he's coming out doing a good job. Now he's hanging right behind the white number 52. That's Ken Schrader, and right behind them is Bob Shack in 75. He's a lap down, but Schrader, as well as Randy Churchill in car 44, those are lead lap cars, and they're battling for a top 5 position right there.
Well, this is deja vu all over again, just like we saw at Owasso last night. Schrader racing right on the tail of Randy Churchill. The only difference is these two guys were in the lead last night, and Schrader makes a bid to the inside in car number 52. I believe he is going to make a pass here on Randy Churchill down the front straightaway, and Schrader has the advantage.
So Schrader drives to the inside of Churchill. Churchill's going to stay on the outside, but that's not the preferred line. See, Schrader's just a little bit up off the bottom, and that's the best way around. But a lot of the lap cars are having to stay right down to the bottom. These heavier cars want to slow you out to the outside of the racetrack, and you got to find that balance between hugging the bottom and letting it ride its way out.
You know, we talked about the Rulo brothers having lots of different drivers in their car. Sort of the same theory that Kenny Schrader's running this year. He's going after the owner's points championship in the Arca Bondo Marhide Supercar Series and doing an excellent job right now. He's had a couple of different drivers go to victory lane. Maybe it's his turn tonight.
He would indeed. If he did go to victory lane, he'd be the 4th different driver to win a Ken Schrader owned and fielded car. Pit stop for Mark Gibson. You saw the traffic kind of back up behind him. But Schrader's owned cars have gone to victory lane with Jimmy Horton, that was at Atlanta, with Andy Hillenberg, and that was at Daytona, and with Ed Dixon at I-80 Speedway. So not only is he using a lot of different drivers, but just like the Rulo brothers, they're winning.
They're very successful for sure. Right now, Perry Tripp in the car number 6 WW Transport entry kind of makes a little bit of a block there for Schrader. As to the outside goes Bob Hill and Larry Clements, number 46. So Schrader getting held up just a little bit, and that's certainly not what he needs at this stage of the race. He needs to be able to get up there and try to track down Marvin Smith and try to make his way up towards where Dave Weltmeyer is, because Weltmeyer just continues to blister this racetrack in car number 39.
There's Frank Kimmel. He is back behind these other cars. Of course, you saw him lose a lap on the racetrack. He was battling to stay on the lead lap. He's the 3rd place driver in the Arca Bondo Marhide Series point standings. Terry Shirley's car, the Papa John's Pizza Machine. And he really needs to get back up if he can, try to protect that 3rd position in points. The point leader is Andy Hillenberg, and right there Bob Shack is the 2nd place point man. So 2nd and 3rd in the series point standings, doing battle here today at Flat Rock. Both a lap down to the lead.
Bob Shack's number 75, Engineered Components Ford there in the center of your screen. As we said, a brand new racetrack. Tim Steele's Ford there, Frank Kimmel in the picture. But boy, I'll tell you what, one guy that we need to give some credit to is Marvin Smith in the Riverside Chevrolet. He's been able to stay right up there and keep his sights set on Dave Weltmeyer. Of course, Weltmeyer now starting to stretch it out just a bit.
Hey, when you talk about the Arca Bondo Marhide Series here at Flat Rock Speedway, there's nobody with a record like Marvin Smith. Dave Weltmeyer has won 4 races here. Marvin Smith has won 6 of these races. But those races all date back to the 1970s and the 1980s. In fact, Marvin Smith's last victory on this Arca Bondo Marhide Series was in 1988, and that was at Killcare Speedway. It was a car that was owned and fielded by his brother, Carl Smith. Well, since then, that deal's kind of gone away. Marvin hasn't run very much the last 2 or 3 years. He got back together with his car owner, Jim Coyle, and those guys had a lot of success, won a couple of championships in 78, 79, and the crew chief on the car is Carl Smith.
Talking with Carl after last night's race, he said, you know, I really feel like we've got it coming together now. They were in contention last night at Owasso, and really pretty much every race they've been out this season, they've been a top 10 type of a car. But he said he thinks it's starting to gel now and come together a little bit. They had a pretty quick car last night at Owasso Speedway.
Of course, you saw Randy Churchill knock on the back door of Frog Hall's car, the yellow number 61. Frog came up just a little bit, and Churchill said, look, I got to get around. Kaboom. There you go.
Glenn Brewer to the inside in car number 10. Not a great night for the CSR Lewandowski entry as Frank Kimmel now goes to the outside of Randy Churchill. They're moving up again on Bob Hill. Up front of this race, it's number 39, Dave Weltmeyer, continuing to lead the AC Delco 150. We see Richard Hauk there coming out in the pit area, car number 31.
Dave Weltmeyer, 10 victories on this series. 4 of them are coming right here at Flat Rock Speedway. Now, 2 of those victories came in a car that he owned and fielded himself, Dave Weltmeyer.
The yellow flag is waving, Ron. I look down in front here. Henry Wetzel, the flagman, has the yellow out. We don't see any cars spun on the racetrack. Well, here's the problem. On the backstretch, Richard Hauk has tried to make it back out from pit road in car number 31 and brings out the yellow, and we'll be right back.
On the pace car, here is our rundown as the laps wind down. Dave Weltmeyer Chevrolet leads. Marvin Smith runs second. Ken Schrader, the third place car. Randy Churchill is fourth. And Tim Steele runs fifth here at the quarter-mile paved oval just south of Detroit, Michigan.
That rundown being brought to you by SK Tools, the official hand tool of the Arca Bondo Marhide Series. 1 lap to go, Ron. We're ready to go. And the lights are out of the Allen Chevrolet pace car. Eric Smith again on the inside. He's a lap car as well as all the rest of these guys to the inside. On the outside, it's the lead lap cars. We see Weltmeyer, then it's Marvin Smith, Kenny Schrader, and I believe that's Randy Churchill in number 44.
It sure is. Eric Smith may be a lap car, but he's been running right with the leader all day long and been threatening to get back past Dave Weltmeyer and get his lead lap back so he can get a lead lap. That would put him then about 8th on the field today.
We saw the car number 7 of Mark Gibson going in earlier. You said it was for a pit stop, and we get a report now that they have parked that Chrysler. So motor troubles once again for Charlie Newby and the Atlas Copco Tools crew. Mark Gibson out of the race now. Dave Weltmeyer continues to lead. A lap car is in second there. That's Eric Smith, and then it's Marvin Smith. These guys are no relation.
They're no relation, but Dave Weltmeyer's got a mirror full of the Smith boys. Eric Smith, last night's winner, and Marvin Smith right behind him. 40-year-old Dave Weltmeyer from Dyer, Indiana, a veteran of short track racing for 20 years. Been around a lot of time. This is his 70th career start in the Arca Bondo Marhide Series, and he really has had a great ride fielded for him today by the Rulo brothers.
And it's certainly a pleasure for us to see Dave back behind the wheel of any type of a race car after an incredible wreck that he had at the Toledo Speedway 1 year ago as he got that car upside down on the backstretch wall and sustained a moderate amount of damage to his body, but he's back here racing with us, and nice to have him, and he's certainly doing it in true form, leading the biggest portion of tonight's AC Delco 150 with just a great race car.
Brand new Chevrolet. It's got Monte Carlo sheet metal on it, right out of the Rulo Brothers shop. And look at Eric Smith hang right with him. Eric Smith may be a lap down, but he's running just as fast as the leader and actually running faster than the cars who are running second, third, fourth, and fifth on the field. They put a lap on Richard Hauk once again. He got his car fixed after that last stall on the back stretch of the race.
You know, last year, Ron, we saw Eric Smith leading the race at Des Moines, Iowa on the road course race. I said to Eric, well, wait a minute, we got a couple of cars spun here on the front straightaway. That's Kenny Brown and Bob Dodds in number 09. So 2 cars have looped it here, and the caution will be out for the 3rd time here at Flat Rock Speedway.
Kenny Brown from Cincinnati, Ohio, Bob Dodge from Dayton, Ohio, and nearby cars spinning. We'll be back with more action in a moment.
Delco 150. Glad to have you with us tonight. Lots of great racing coming out throughout the rest of the summer. We'll go to the 1-mile dirt tracks at DuQuoin, Illinois and Springfield, and lots of other great short track races coming your way. Tonight, I should say this afternoon, we're at the Flat Rock Speedway. It's hard not to say tonight. Usually we race at night here. It's an afternoon race for the AC Delco 150, and Dave Weltmeyer Chevrolet has certainly been the class of the field all day today. Running in second is Marvin Smith, third Kenny Schrader, fourth Randy Churchill as they come down to get the white flag, 1 lap to go. And in 5th place right now, Dill Whittemore from Seymour, Indiana. Good run for Dill, who is currently in a great battle with Andy Hillenberg for the STP and Crestone Rookie of the Year award.
Just about 15 laps, in fact, less than 15 laps left. Only cars on the outside lane are the lead lap cars. All the cars on the inside are a lap or more down.
On our last restart, Dave Weltmeyer got kind of a jackrabbit start, and the Arca officials notified him that that was not acceptable. A very good restart this time, as Weltmeyer is on the outside. In the inside lane is Eric Smith, and this time by, he'll have the lead lap back. We'll see if Frank Kimmel can do the same. Kimmel desperately needs to try to get back on the lead lap, and here goes Kimmel to the inside in the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. He is on the lead lap as they cross the start-finish line this time, and here comes Marvin Smith.
Okay, Dave Weltmeyer's got a problem. He's got some kind of a problem because those cars were a lap down. They've passed, and Marvin Smith is now going to make the pass, and he's going for the lead. Ken Schrader's going to come with him.
Here comes Marvin Smith and Kenny Schrader past Dave Weltmeyer. Could Weltmeyer have just used up the tires? That may be the case, as he's made his way through heavy traffic all afternoon here, and the lead goes to Marvin Smith. This is the first time in 95 we've seen the Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet out front, and here comes Schrader. Look at that. They're banging and beating the number 52 and 39.
We're under 10 laps to go in this race. Your leader is the orange car number 1, the Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet of Marvin Smith. The white 52, the AC Delco Olds of Ken Schrader is second, and Dave Weltmeyer's yellow number 39 Ruler Brothers car is third, 3 wide right in front of the leader.
As they go past Kenny Brown there, it's Frank Kimmel and Eric Smith now dropping onto the tail of the lead lap, but here comes Weltmeyer back to the outside in car number 39. The big question here, does he have any tires left? Marvin Smith has been fairly conservative tonight as he's moved his way through traffic, but Weltmeyer, remember, Ron, used the outside lane a big portion of today's race, and that just may not be where the groove was.
Yeah, but look at the outside. Now Eric Smith is out there. Marvin Smith moves below him. Could he be in trouble now? He is. He's got to slow down for Eric Smith.
Oh, he gets to the back. Look out there on the backstretch as Mike Loers in car number 99 was slow, and Marvin Smith, Kenny Schrader, and Dave Weltmeyer all had to get on the binders. To the outside now, Eric Smith, and boy, Marvin Smith is going to try to hold on for all he's worth here, and here comes Kenny Schrader.
You got less than 5 laps to go in this race, and look at these guys battling for the lead. This is an excellent race right down to the finish. Marvin Smith, 20 times has been to victory lane on the Arca Bondo Marhide series, but not since 1988, and boy, you got to believe he wants this one.
Marvin has been in semi-retirement the last couple of years and back in a competitive car driving for Jim Coyle and being crew chief by his brother Carl. But here comes Kenny Schrader. Contact there between Schrader and Weltmeyer. Weltmeyer now relegated to third in the 39, and here he comes to the outside to see if he can make his way around the number 52. Weltmeyer does have a good line here as he's fighting with Schrader for second place.
Ray, Marvin Smith is pulled away by about 3 or 4 car lengths, you can see, but now they're closing back in on him as he's approaching flat traffic in the form of Glenn Brewer.
Yeah, Brewer in the inside.
White flag is out.
Yeah, and Brewer says, I'm not going to get in the way here. But look, some other cars on the backstretch. Number 12, Roger Blackstock, and they're going to have to split them 3 wide going down the back straightaway. Schrader makes it through, and here comes Marvin Smith. He'll hold on for the victory. Number 21 for Marvin Smith. What a fantastic finish to tonight's AC Delco 150.
And the fans are happy, and boy, it'll take us a minute to catch a breath after that one. Ooh. What a finish on that race.
That was a great one. Marvin Smith goes to victory lane tonight here at Flat Rock Speedway. This is a racetrack he's had a great handle on over the years, but tonight I really think the key to his victory was just conserving tires.
Yeah, and that's the veteran showing up in, and this is his 117th career start on this series, 2-time champion. His 20th race win, 21st race win. What a great veteran.
Yeah, Marvin Smith goes to victory lane tonight, and we'll be back to wrap up all the action for tonight's AC Delco 150 at Flat Rock when we come back. So a great win for Marvin Smith tonight at the Flat Rock Speedway. You know, Ron, he only led 11 laps. Dave Weltmeyer was out front for 139, but the one that really counts is when the checkered flag falls.
And now we'll take a look at the SK Tools field summary, working from the back to the front. Harris Devane, first car out of the race. Jody Guerra on Jack Stan's early. Mark Gibson also fell out. Richard House finishes 26th, and Kenny Brown, we saw him spin late in the race. He's going to finish 25th on the grid today, the rookie from Cincinnati.
In the STP and Prestone Arca Rookie of the Year Award, we only take the top 15 finishes, and this is certainly one that Harris Devane is going to want to throw away tonight as he finishes in last place tonight in the AC Delco 150. Moving up through the grid here in 24th position, driving for John Stratman tonight in car number 57 was Michael Benjamin. Bob Dodds from Dayton, Ohio in car number 09. Then it's Mike Loers. All these cars were running at the finish, number 99. David Hall from Blue Springs, Missouri in car number 61. We see Glenn Brewer with a fairly poor finish tonight in car number 10 on finishing 19th. And 20th position was Perry Tripp from Fredericktown, Missouri in the WW Transport car number 6. He'll finish 20th tonight.
That's an uncharacteristic finish for Glenn Brewer. He's a top 10 guy every season, the last 5 seasons in a row. Johnny LeDuc, Tech 3 Prototypes old. He'll be 18th on the grid. Mike Buckley in the Enterprise Services Pontiac, 17th. Kurt Dickey, the Can-Am Tools Pontiac, he's 16th. Roger Blackstock's Pontiac, it slowed there at the end of the race. You saw him at the very last lap there up on the high side slowing. He's 15th tonight. Outside pole sitter Robbie Pyle and Jerry Lawrence's Chrysler, 14th. Bob Shack, the engineered component Ford, he kind of battled it all day long, but he moved his way around. Stayed up there in 13th, and that won't hurt him too badly in the points.
I'm sure one of these days we're going to see Robbie Pyle up here in our top 10 numbers on a racetrack like this. Scott Neal finishes 12th tonight. 11th, car number 11, Andy Hillenberg. That'll help him stay in the point lead. Eric Smith in car number 9 will finish 10th. Bob Hill from Story City, Iowa will be 9th. On the lead lap, all these cars, Frank Kimmel in 02 in the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. He'll be 8th. And we didn't talk much about Bobby Bowser tonight in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, but another top 10, and that's going to help him in the Arca Bondo Marhide Supercar Series driver points as we're at the halfway point of the 1995 season. Bowser in 21 will finish 7th tonight here at Flatland.
And the top 6, all lead lap cars. Tim Steele, HS Dye Simlink Ford, he's 6th on the grid. Bill Whittemore in the Indiana Triad Steel Oldsmobile will finish 5th. Randy Churchill, another really good run for the Canadian driver. He'll finish 4th. Dave Weltmeyer brings the Rulo Brothers Chevrolet home 3rd. Ken Schrader, the Missourian now living in Concord, North Carolina, finishes 2nd in the AC Delco Oldsmobile. And 50-year-old Marvin Smith, Asheville, Ohio, hasn't won on this series since 1988, comes home the winner.
Marvin